Good morning, UPBOptionMillionaires.com. It's August 19, 2014. It is a Tuesday, and stock futures are starting off the day higher after yesterday's significant rally. You can see this big rally we had. Futures continue to drift higher before spiking just before the European markets open. Pull back a little bit. We're starting to get back up to that level, so the theme remains very bullish here. In spite of the weakness we saw a week and a half ago and the brief weakness we saw on Friday when the markets pulled back right here. We go back a week and a half ago, and you notice how quickly, once stocks bottomed, came all the way back to close the day just about even, and we remain on that upward trend, which continues today. When we look at some stocks hit some really key levels today. If you look at the pullback that we had recently, beautiful comeback off the lows here that we saw Thursday night into Friday morning. That was August 7th into August 8th, and we had similar pullbacks. This was the tech wreck of 2014, and back at the start of the year we had a nice pullback. Each of the pullbacks have led to a sharp reversal to the upside, higher than where the decline started from. So if we're to follow the trend that has really gone on for now, and if you look at the Abenomics low 2-year chart, each of the pullbacks has sent stocks back to higher levels than where the sell-off started from. So if we're looking from a perspective historically of where we're going to head after this pullback, we're going to head to new record levels. And some stocks are already breaking out to those. Apple yesterday broke out, hit a brand new all-time high, and looks poised this morning to possibly purge that 100 or pierce that $100 figure, which post split. I mean, nobody was talking about it last summer at this time. Actually, all the analysts were busy downgrading the stock, downgrading it. Yes, and that's the only thing that really gets me nervous about this market. Just like when we had with the market pulling back a week and a half ago, all the pundits and everybody calling for a significant pullback. Oh, let's see at 185, 175, 170. When everybody starts to get on the train the same direction, that's when you start to get worried. And I don't think we're just there yet for stocks, but overall for the market. But some individual names, we're seeing the bullish percent start to get really up there. And I think Apple is one of those. Not to say it's not going to head significantly higher from here. I think this could be a $120, $130 stock. I said it last year when it was at its lows. It was going to make new all-time records. A lot of people laughed at me. It took a little longer than expected, but nonetheless, there we are. We're here. So if you just went long Apple when I said it had bottomed and it was going to move higher, you'd be up pretty nicely now. But I think Apple, yes. And Google as well. Google is another stock. And if you look at Google, this is a beautiful, I pointed this out, beautiful cup and handle continuation pattern. We bounced off support, and we're starting to make our way up. And I think Google is going to see, just like it did back in the middle of May, one of those rallies, a $50, $60 rally to the upside, which would take Google to $650 in a short period of time. We've seen it happen numerous occasions in the lifetime of Google. TLT is up a little bit this morning. I wouldn't say the bond market is dead and that we're going to pull back and interest rates are going to start to rise, but I do think that to move up from its lows at the start of the year, it just got a little worn out, and that's why we pulled back a little bit, about 1% yesterday. We're up about a third of a percent this morning, but I do expect this to come back down, possibly test this trend line support. All right, let's go on. We have earnings this week. This morning we had earnings from Home Depot, and I told you when I did my video last night, the stock looks very bullish here, consolidating, and sure enough, we moving higher after before the bell, up about 3%. Dick's Sporting Goods also reporting earnings. Let's just pull this channel across. It says ironic how this channel worked. I just pulled that across. I haven't looked at Dick's chart in quite a while, and you can see it's been consolidating in this channel. And look at where it dropped from. It's pretty amazing how trend lines, support lines, and channels work. Nonetheless, Dick's Sporting Good is up about $3 before the bell on earnings. So let's go to earnings because we got a couple key earnings, especially heading into the end of the week. We have Hewlett-Packard, which reminds me a lot of, for instance, JCPenney right now, where JCPenney's trading. Back a couple years ago, Hewlett-Packard was pretty much left for dead. Everybody thought it was going to go bankrupt. The company was just going to go belly up, and that PCs and everything that Hewlett-Packard sells is just going to go away, and the stock was just going to go belly up. And sure enough, right at the nadir, just exactly where the people were most bearish about the stock is precisely where it reversed. and it's been on a significant uptrend, but pretty measured as well. Aside from a couple of pullbacks, the stock just continues to melt higher. And I think this earnings report, we could see that spike up to about the $37.50, $38 range. And the $36 calls are at about 45 cents, 50 cents. So I'll be looking at a trade like that. Heading into earnings for Hewlett-Packard, that is after the bell tomorrow. We also have Lowe's. They're going to be higher on the heels of Home Depot's report this morning. So we might not be getting into the calls this morning. Just based upon that, it would have been probably a more appropriate entry yesterday before the bell rang to close the market. So we're looking at Lowe's to make new multi-year highs here. And you see that the beautiful chart. If you just take this chart and kind of just mute the up and down swings and just kind of make a generalized line across the trend here, and then it consolidates, a beautiful bull flag, and it's resolving to the upside. We have Target before the bell tomorrow. I like Target calls here just because the stock looks like it found support at about the $55 level. It's pulled back a little bit, which is nice off the $60 level. And I could easily see it going over $60 post-earnings tomorrow because there's not much expected from it. And so that's where I'll be positioned. That's before the bell tomorrow. After the bell, we have Hewlett-Packard and we have Williams-Sonoma, which I'm looking at a long-term chart. Looks very bullish here. Looks like it's going to break out to new record levels. I don't know. I just feel like at some point, one of these stocks are going to fall, right? And if I had to take my choice of any of the earnings trades that I have coming up here this week, Williams-Sonoma, the $70 September puts are like $1. So to me, that's the market isn't really anticipating the move to the downside, or maybe that's why it will happen. But other than that, I mean, I can't look at this chart and say, yeah, well, we're going to pull back here. And sure enough, yeah, there's been pullbacks along the way for Williams-Sonoma. But for the most part, the trend has been to the upside. And we know the trend is our friend these days. No sense fighting it. We have Dollar Tree Thursday before the bell. I'm not sure if this is really going to matter. We have Sears Holdings. I'm in the calls, the $38 calls. I might add to them today if we dip a little further. Again, I brought this up in my video last night. When Sears breaks this long-term trend line, it is going to go parabolic to the upside, 30 to 50%. But we'll see when it happens. Might not happen this earnings report. We could crash and burn, and my calls could go to zero, and I could lose my entire investment in those call contracts that expire at the end of this week. So it's a high-risk trade. We have TFM, the Fresh Market, reporting earnings. Recently downgraded along with Whole Foods on Whole Foods report. Really, this has got a $28 target by some of the analysts, and we'll see. It looks like it's kind of bottomed here. You see, over the last 5 years, a weekly chart, you can see the really volatile moves or volatility in this stock and the big moves that it's been making. It's kind of muted now. So to me, at these lows, it looks like the sellers have kind of relaxed themselves, and the buyers are kind of feeling it out. And I think the earnings report is the one to send it higher, as the analysts have gotten overly bearish on TFM and Whole Foods as well. So a trade maybe on TFM's earnings is to get some Whole Foods calls. Whole Foods remains at support here, and I think is poised to really break up to about the $50 level, close this gap down from its earnings report earlier this year. We have GameStop, heavily shorted stock, at support here. Analysts came out this morning. I don't recall if it was, I know it wasn't a negative report, but it could be just a neutral rating. Nonetheless, we've seen GameStop in the past fall post-earnings and then recover and sharply rise above that previous point from where it fell. So it might not be something that we're going to be trading via stock options, because the market's going to be expecting a big move, and you're going to be paying for that move with premium in your option contract. Gap Stores was downgraded this morning. They have earnings after the bell on Thursday. Above support here. So I'm not so sure it's going to drop. And if you look from, that's a 5-year week. Let's pull in a little bit, because that looks like a nice bull flag as well. We had the spike up here just over the last couple weeks. It's been digesting these $42 prices here. And so earnings report could send it higher in spite of the negative report from the analyst. We have Intuit reporting earnings Thursday after the bell. Very bullish chart here. It's a 1-year daily chart, and look at the 5-year above the trend, just continues to head higher, and this looks poised for $100. I'm not sure if the earnings report is what's going to send it there, but I think it's going to get there. And CRM, finally, I pointed this out, and it's really a stock that hasn't been rallying in spite of the recoveries off the tech wreck of 2014, which was this candle down when it hit $60. Also, it hit record levels recently. Now, this is after a split, but nonetheless, this looks like a nice head and shoulders pattern, right? We have the left shoulder ahead, and we have a right shoulder. This is the neckline, but we really haven't come down to that neckline. So as long as we stay above this level, you can look at CRM. This could be one of those stocks that makes the 10 to 15% move post earnings, which would bring us to about the 62.50 level, and I'm almost positive the call options aren't pricing in that kind of move. So that might be what we're looking at here this week. CRM could be the big earnings trade, heading significantly to the upside and surprising pretty much all market participants. All right, UPB here, optionmillionaires.com. I'll be in the chat room. If I enter any of those trades, I get to watch this stuff in a little bit. I hope everyone has a great trading session. Yeah, stocks are poised for another positive day, ready to open a little bit higher, modestly higher. The VXX is sitting just off of record lows here. If you look from a short-term chart here, I'll put up the 60-day. We had that nice spike up, and now we're all the way back where we started from, ready to plunge below the 27 figure and make record lows for the VXX. Again, here I'll pull up a chart for the S&P 500 futures. That's the daily. We're almost back, stone's throw away from record highs. You can see we're pulling back a little bit from this morning's higher levels, and I firmly expect the same old action that we've seen the last couple days, where any kind of weakness is bought, and we're just going to continue on this methodical kind of melt up. All right, UPB, optionmillionaires.com. Again, it is Monday, August 19, 2014. I'll see you in the chat room. Everyone have a great trading session. Actually, it's Tuesday. Oh, goodness. All right. It's better than Monday. All right, UPB here. Goodbye.